St. Joseph Church was also going strong in 1871. St. Joseph's had become a formidable and respected parish, even though a few of its neighbors might not have agreed at the time.
And there were some complaints from our Protestant brethren that our bells were too loud, that we were interrupting their services, which raised a certain backlash, if you want to call it that, politically. And our Father Ectoring, who was our parish at this time, was not a man to be pushed around, was not a man to be overdone. He says, okay. And he took a collection up, and they put in what we refer to today as the large bell. And the Protestants got to listen to a still stronger bell ceremony, let's say.
In 1872, the Methodists continued the construction boom by starting their third church building on the northwest corner of Mill and Lincoln Way West. Initially, only the basement was roofed and furnished. On September 5th, however, tragedy struck the town. At 7:45 p.m., a fire broke out in a barn directly behind the Presbyterian Church.
Nobody quite knows exactly how it got started. There are several theories. One being that there were tramps smoking in a barn behind the Presbyterian Church. Another that there was an angry individual because the Presbyterian minister had a prohibition-type sermon, and he didn't like the content of that sermon, so he was out to get revenge. But we don't know for sure why it happened. But it was a very windy evening, and of course fire protection here in Mishawaka was reasonably non-existent.
The fire of 1872 destroyed almost the entire downtown of Mishawaka. It was a major deal. We didn't have much firefighting equipment those days. They were calling in for horse-drawn fire engines from Elkhart as well as South Bend.
I believe Elkhart and Goshen sent over their fire trucks that came on a train because that was the fastest way to get them here, just in time to help clean up. But it was a disaster for the town in terms of how many buildings were destroyed and how many businesses were destroyed in the downtown area.
The fire destroyed 49 buildings, about 90% of the town's business district, including the old 1836 Methodist Church. The new 1872 Methodist Church was saved by providential winds.
Oh, I think the building survived that fire of 1872 because it was only a basement at that time.
But once again, the solid rock of faith that was instrumental in building a town in 1834 was at the forefront of rebuilding that same town in 1872. The Presbyterian congregation immediately began rebuilding their church in the same location. Working through a brutal northern Indiana winter, the faithful congregation had enough of their building completed to begin worshiping in their own church again on January 5th, 1873, exactly 4 months after the fire.